Your child's gonna grow up and be like, Mommy, why would you never let me see my daddy? Well, I was still in love with your daddy, Johnny. And I just couldn't bear the thought of you having a dad. Don't you have a daddy? Johnny, I do. You're right. But he ain't got shit to do with me and your daddy, so. No, but like, seriously, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we doing that? Why are we playing these games? And welcome to Learn From Me Sis. I'm Christina Jade, and this is my space where I tell the truth about all things healing, motherhood, heartbreak, and rebuilding a life that I'm truly proud of. And if you ever felt like you're carrying the weight all alone, then this podcast is definitely for you. Before we get in today's episode, I want to start with something that someone said to me recently. They said, "Oh, great, I'm supposed to take advice from a single mother?" And honestly, in this day and age, we're in 2026, that honestly didn't shock me. Not even a little bit. People assume we're irresponsible. They assume we're bitter. They assume we're all living off of the system. Every single one of us. They assume we made bad choices. My favorite is that they assume that we don't know what we're talking about. But what people don't realize is that being a single mother doesn't tell you someone's whole story. Sometimes it tells you that a woman refused to stay in a situation that wasn't healthy. Sometimes it tells you she had to rebuild her life from the ground up. And sometimes it tells you she's so much stronger than people give her credit for. So today, I want to talk about the assumptions people make about single mothers. And shit, some of the assumptions I still hold today. You know, there was a time that I prided myself saying, yeah, I'm a single mom, but you know, my kids come from the same dad. I thought that was a flex. Not the fact that my kid's father ain't shit, but just, you know, at least it was just one father that wasn't shit that I was exposing my children to. Hindsight 2020, I understand why some of you didn't. It's a tricky thing because nowhere am I saying that, oh, I wish I didn't have my children. That's not what it's about. Because it's not the fact that there's a problem of, you know, try again. I was rinsing and repeating. That wasn't the smartest, honestly. However, my kids are the end result of that decision that I continue to make because it was about the devil I knew. I was so bamboozled by this man that there was no part of me that was willing to even try, honestly. Like, it wasn't even just the fact that I was worried that they were going to turn into a piece of shit. It was more about the fact that what happens, I just didn't trust myself. So if I didn't trust myself in my decision making, I didn't think I was going to be able to trust myself in seeing a true predator, because I think I have really good intuition. Like, I have a great spidey senses that like averts me from shit coming my way. When I was younger, I had that same system. Did I always listen to it? No, because unfortunately, my superpower was barricaded under a blockage of ice. And somewhere along my growing up and having my children, I decided that I didn't want to have to go down that path of the unknown, because this man masked, he was fine. He was great. He was decent while he was actively being a parent. So it's just like, I just didn't want to go down that road again. I didn't think I could trust myself with the fact that, is this man genuine? Is this man more interested in my children? Is this man a manipulator? I just didn't trust myself. So it was easier for me because I did want more children. I love babies. Like, the babies stage is amazing. Love it. I always seem to forget, wait, but they grow up. But it's okay, because there are no more babies coming out of me, so it does not matter. However, when I was younger, before I was 30, this is the way that I thought. At least I'll have one children's father. And we all sometimes judge situations we have never actually been through. Another thing I've struggled with is the language people tend to use when they talk about single mothers. For example, the term baby mama irritates me to the depth of my soul. I remember always feeling just an enormous pit of fucking aggravation and an irritation when my children's father would introduce me to his friends, like when we would be on like good terms but not like dating or anything. He would introduce me as, oh, this is my baby mama. If you don't put some goddamn respect on my motherfucking name, my dude, I am going to flip out, because no, I am not the baby mama. Okay? I'm the primary parent. I hold it down. So yeah, the fact that so many people use the term baby mama instead of a single mother irritates me so much. Baby mamas and a single mother are not one and the same. They are not. And I would love for anybody to come and rebut me. And let me just say this. My irritation, it has nothing to do with ego at all. It has to do with respect. You are going to respect the job that I do taking care of the kids that came from your loins. You stupid animal. Because being a mother is something that I take very seriously. Motherhood is a sacrifice. Motherhood is a responsibility. Motherhood is showing up every single goddamn day for a human being that depends on you. Because that human being didn't ask to be born. So it's literally your responsibility. It is your responsibility to take care of the kids that you decided to make. You decided to have them. So it's my responsibility to make sure that they grow up into decent human beings with some decent tools in their toolbox. And they're fed, and they have a roof over their head and clothes on their back. I take that seriously. So for me, there has always been a difference between being called a baby mama and recognized as a single mother. And I just want to make sure that I'm being completely clear about the term baby mama and how I am using it in this story here. Because for me, the difference between a single mother and a baby mama is going to use their child as a pawn. Someone who treats their child as leverage is a piece of shit. There's no going around it. I'm not going to argue with you. That's my opinion. If you're using your child as leverage, as a pawn, to manipulate the other parent. In this situation, we are talking about baby mamas, so if you're manipulating the father to get money, to get your nails done, to get your hair done, to get plastic surgery, to go on fucking trips, to get new shoes for yourself, new clothes for yourself, the freshest perfume, that is a baby mama. A woman who uses their child as a moving piece for emotional weaponizing, that is a baby mama. A woman who doesn't allow a good father to be in their life because, they broke up, the father moved on, sometimes the mom even moved on, but now the father finally is in a healthy relationship and, he's making those steps towards marriage. And now, oh no, little Nicky isn't going to your house. I don't know that bitch. What about us? Where were you when we were trying? That is a baby mama. A woman who refuses to work, they also want the father to take care of them and pay all of their expenses. That is a baby mama. A woman who constantly has a new partner around their child. Every week it's a new man creating a level of instability for their child. And all the while the dad is screaming, "Hey, let me get my kid." And the mother refuses. That is a baby mama. We could go on and on because there's truly so many different examples of baby mamas. And what is a single mother? And the difference? A single mother is probably someone who had the same bra for the last 5 years. A single mother has maybe 2 pairs of decent shoes in their closet. A single mother is someone who sacrifices their job hours to be able to take time out of their day to get their sick child. A single mother is someone who co-parents healthy with their children's father. Some of y'all are a little slow, so let me just say, obviously, if the father is, a positive influence in the child's life, a single mother is going to have what is best for my child at the forefront at all times. That is the difference. And like I already said, I ain't fighting none of you on this, but if you want blood. So that's the stereotype people imagine when they are referring to single mothers, in my opinion. Their mouths are saying single mother, but their brains are really thinking baby mama. And it's not the same. It's not the same. And the problem is that stereotype gets placed across the board. Like a one size fits all type of deal. And life needs to just be on a spectrum. Everybody needs to get their brains around the fact that life is a spectrum of things. Because when things are going bad, things can get even worse. When things are going good, things can get even better. Spectrum. And that stereotype is just, it couldn't be further from the truth. Because there are so many single mothers who grind every day for their children. And they are sacrificing parts of themselves for their children. There are so many single mothers working full time, sacrificing for their children, showing up every single day, making sure that their children are cared for, supported, are loved, are protected. Another assumption that many people make when they think about single mothers are the fact that they are all living on welfare. So I've experienced that assumption myself. People are genuinely surprised that I went to school, that I have a career, that I'm a nurse, that I work in the ICU. And again, yes, there were times in my life that I was on state assistance, and I was very thankful for that help I was getting because I didn't know what else I was going to do. My kids needed food. I knew that there was something more that I was going to accomplish in my life. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I just knew that I needed to try. And honestly, if I were able to have more positive of like people around me about the fact that yes, you're a single mom, but that doesn't mean you just stop. Keep going. You just have to work a little hard. But yeah, I think I wouldn't have waited as long as I did to take the steps. Was I always in some type of school? Yes, 100%. Since the day I graduated high school, I went to college. I went to multiple colleges, and I always kept on trying. Try. Sometimes people need support during certain chapters of their life. That doesn't mean that that particular chapter that they needed a little extra support defined their whole entire book. The book is still unwritten. And what I did for my kids, I have no regrets. And it fed their little bellies. It provided clothes on their back and a roof over their head, which means I was taking care of my responsibilities as their mother. Another assumption people love to make. This is my favorite one. Out of all the idiocracies I have to hear when the conversation comes about single moms. And that assumption is that single mothers should have done a better job picking their partner. And every single time I hear that, I think to myself, people hide themselves for years on end. For years. Think about people who are down low in the closet. And they're over there married with like 4 fucking children. And then one day they finally get the fucking courage to stop being a liar and being true to themselves. And they show their true colors. You're a single mom. Now you're a single mom. Like, what do you mean you should have done a better job picking a partner? These things happen. These people manipulate you. People are not forthcoming. People show up as a different version for months and sometimes years on end. Are there flags most of the time? Sure, there are flags. Sure. Okay. Does that flag mean you're not going to take care of the responsibility? We didn't work out, so that means you don't take care of your responsibility? That's not on me. That's not on me. This is all about honesty and just, why be talking about anything if you're not going to be honest and tell shit that people don't necessarily want to hear? In my eyes. I love it. Stir the pot. Stir the pot. Stir it. Stir the pot. Stir the pot. Stir it. Seriously though, there are still situations that frustrates me. And those situations have to do with, when the dad is trying to be an active dad and he's there trying to show up, paying what he needs to pay, genuinely wants to be a father, loves being a dad. Then you have the mother, and she's still hurt because chances are she still wants to be with them. And, the only way that she can bring pain is using this child as a pawn. But she's still a good mother, so she's in a different category than a baby mama because you are still showing up for your child. But then it's like, are you really still showing up for your child? If you're not letting this child go be around the dad and you're making the dad have to go through all these fucking hoops because of what? You're bitter? I need you to take a deep breath and get that shit out of your body, because the only one that you're hurting is your child. Your child's gonna grow up and be like, Mommy, why would you never let me see my daddy? Well, I was still in love with your daddy, Johnny, and I just couldn't bear the thought of you having a dad. Don't you have a daddy? Johnny, I do. You're right. But he ain't got shit to do with me and your daddy, so. No, but like, seriously, come on. Like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we doing that? Why are we playing these games? Children deserve to have healthy relationships with their parents. End of story. Both parents. As long as both parents are healthy enough to have said healthy relationships. And I always keep on going back to that, because it's like, I'm not disregarding the fact that there are some parents that are unstable for their children. So that's why I'm saying, like, again, a disclaimer. If you're a healthy, well-rounded individual and you have kids, it is your responsibility to take care of those kids. Thank you. Something else that is not talked a lot about, at least that I haven't seen, is the fact that there is a sense of pressure that as single mothers you experience. This pressure is the fact that not necessarily, I don't like the word perfect in this situation, because I know that, like, I never felt like I needed to be perfect. However, I did feel like I just one-up them. I just had to one-up the situation, because there were more eyes on me. Because it can feel like everyone's watching you. Watching to see if you're going to make a mistake. Watching to confirm the assumptions they've already made about you. So you feel pressured to prove them wrong. I genuinely did. Being a single mom at a young age was also an added pressure I experienced. I had my son at 18 years old. I was in Newport, Rhode Island. I was living in Westfield. So, like, we're talking about stereotypes. I'm hitting all the stereotypes right now. Living in subsidized housing, on welfare, single mother. One of the things that I developed that I hated doing was bringing my children to doctor's appointments. I always dreaded the fucking doctor. Always. It was just something about sitting in the doctor's office by myself. I have a baby face. I've always had a baby face. So, like, if I'm still being told, like, hey, you look like you're 20, hey, girl. Imagine when I was actually 18. Like, I looked even younger, and here I am with this baby. And then two babies. So I see these people with other couples, and they have big old fucking diamond rings on, and they're just like very much more put together. In the way that we were living was very evident. And I understand that these were just my own thoughts, insecurities, what have you. However, my thoughts were also reconfirmed with situations that I would be in. You know, me being a young parent and advocating for my son, I'm a reader, nerd level. Anything I was interested, I would be reading about it. So when I'm pregnant, of course I'm going to read everything I need to know to be like the best fucking parent there is. When you're young, you have so many fucking dreams and delusions. No, but seriously, I knew how many words my son should have had at his age level. And I just felt like patted. So cute. You're so concerned. But no, you're not right. He's fine. I know better. I'm more experienced. Trust me. Okay, bitch. Ended up, my son was in speech for many years, so obviously I wasn't that fucking wrong if he ended up needing the things that I was trying to get interventions on beforehand. That feeling of like, oh, you're just a young mom, that's why you just don't know any better. No, that's not true. My two oldest kids, like, my kids are broken apart. I basically started over. My oldest is 19. My youngest is 8. When I have any concerns about the last two children, I am not met with any type of like looks or anything that I experienced when I was younger. Now, granted, I understand that, like, oh, well, maybe you just matured and, you got more confidence and that's why it didn't bother you. Bitch, I'm still a single mom. I still feel that pressure that I need to one up everything. So, no, that's not why. That pressure to prove them wrong, though, that's the thing that I was able to get over and not feel that need. It wasn't the fact that the looks stopped coming. The need to prove them wrong just subsided. And the presence of a husband, that don't mean shit, sis. That doesn't mean a goddamn thing. You know how many people I know that are married and they have children and they operate like they're a single mom? That is insane to me. What do you mean you're working, you're taking care of the house, and you're taking care of everything with the kids? And he's what, just living his best life? That doctor's appointments, school appointments, sports, that's all on you? But you also work? No. I experienced that too, which is also another reason why it got to the point when I did say enough was enough. Like, why am I stressing out if I can do this on my own if I'm already doing it on my own? That doesn't need to be a thought in your head, sis. You're doing it on your own. You are more than capable. And you know what will be better? Now you don't have to have that fucking resentment that slowly builds up, and you can't tell me it doesn't. That resentment that slowly has been building, you don't have to have that anymore. Or you sit the husband down and you say, hey, we are in a partnership. Why am I out here with these kids by myself? They have doctor's appointments. They have fucking sports. They need help with their homework. They need help with parenting. They need help with reminders. Let's be a team and do this together. So yeah, the presence of a husband doesn't automatically mean the presence of a partnership. And the absence of a partner doesn't automatically mean the absence of strength. Being a single mother isn't a statistic. It is a story. And no one gets to define that story except the person that's living that life. People have a lot of assumptions about single mothers. They assume we're irresponsible. They assume we're living off the system. What they don't see is the woman working full-time, raising their children, and rebuilding their life from the ground up. Being a single mother isn't a statistic. It's a story. Thank you for spending time with me. If this episode helped you feel seen, make sure you subscribe and share it with somebody who needs it. And remember, you're not behind, you're becoming. I'll talk to you in the next episode.